baby. We got a lot to talk about today. But before we get into that, we got to get into this wellness challenge from Amirin. Yes, you can get your CMOS capsules, Ultra Burn, and more by entering this wellness challenge. Oh yes, all you got to do to enter to win is to participate in the wellness challenge each day. Tag Amirin and then tag 3 friends. Oh yes, baby. Get all the way into it and follow Shop Amirin on Instagram. Okay, so then if you want to head on over to Richie Skye in real life, you want to follow that YouTube page because we're going to be talking about travel, lifestyle, motivation, and a little bit of finance. We got real stories coming to y'all every week. And then you guys will want to head over to DJRichieSkye Unfiltered for your favorite podcast because we're going to be breaking down things every week, some of the hottest headlines and more. So listen, we got a lot going on here, but right now, y'all know what time it is. It's time to get this party started. What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building, and we are talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, episode 2556, okay? And who better to break that all down with than our boy Adam from Up and Adam.
How's it going?
Oh, you know, we almost at the finish line, Adam. Almost at the finish line.
Listen, it's been a long ride, but I want to say first off real quick, that intro was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it got me hyped.
My radio
I was like, look at all the stuff this guy has going on. Wow. All right.
Oh, you know, just trying to stay busy, okay?
I feel you.
Adam, episode 2 of the reunion, and everyone in the chat, while you guys are letting us know where you're watching from because we are nosy, let us know what you would rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 obviously being the best, and then 1 or 0 obviously being the worst. Now, we're rating this on the scale of a reunion, so it's not a typical episode. Adam.
6.5.
Woo!
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Because it wasn't, I'm still waiting for the third part for the husbands to come out. And last night, you know, I kind of cringed for Lisa because it felt like she was getting caught in one thing after another. I really did enjoy Meredith, like kind of pleading her case and Jen erupting over the disclaimer comment, but it didn't, I hate that Mary's not there to defend half of this stuff. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm missing someone.
Yeah, you know, interestingly, I would give last night, I would say I'm going to give it an 8. And let me tell you why. You know, it's, and this is not me being Paula per se, but I did find it interesting. I just felt like there were a lot of cool moments that I did appreciate. You know, it was interesting to me. We got a reminder last night that Meredith was a lawyer. Okay. So this is probably the reason why she always makes so much sense with her defense of herself.
Right.
I'll say that. Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Lisa. She was getting it from every single angle. And the crazy thing is when Jen has to tell you how to apologize, you know you're having a bad day. Okay? So there was that. And then Whitney took it. I mean, she turned things up quite a bit last night with several reveals. One of which being that, you know, it had kind of been out there, I think, at this point in the streets, but that Mary had allegedly had an affair with Cameron. I was wondering why we were still talking about Mary because she wasn't there, but here we were again. What had you heard about this Mary and Cameron situation? And why I was going to ask why you thought it was brought up, but I will only point this thing out right here. One of my favorite moments was from someone who I don't even want to talk about. And it was actually Jenny. When she said, "Why is everyone so interested in Mary's church?" I don't know where she was coming from with it. I really don't even care because I don't care about her. But it made so much sense when she asked the question.
I think I can answer all of these.
Give it to us.
Okay. So I've actually known about the alleged affair since November of 2020 or December of 2020. Yeah. So when I did my original interview with Dan Cosby, we sat on the phone. Sorry, my contact is like messing up in my eye. We sat on the phone for about 2 hours before that interview because he told me so much, and he told me about conversations he had with Rob Cosby Sr. and that he was going to expose this alleged affair if certain things weren't like, he was just like, I don't like the way that you're treating certain people in my family. So if you keep on, I'm going to tell people about this alleged affair. So I've heard about it for a long time. And I think the importance of bringing it up, which I cringe every time they bring it up because this man is no longer alive. But I think the importance of it is to show the extent of the relationship that they had and what was maybe going on. And then as far as, Jenny Wynn, who I feel like we have to say like Lord Voldemort, like we can't, whose name, who we shall not say.
Voldemort.
Pointing out, why are we talking about the church? I think it's because there have been audio clips that have come out about, from the congregation being, yelled at for certain things. There have been the cult allegations. And I think that there has been so much controversy around the church, which I get it. Why continue to talk about it? But it's almost like we're going to keep badgering Erica until she tells us what we think we want her to, tell us. And so I think we keep badgering Mary, wanting her to say it's a cult when she's like, my church is not a cult. So I don't know. Sorry, that was a rant, but there were 3 questions.
I mean, I wanted some intel, and I feel like, one of the things that I guess it was interesting because it was being pointed out, it seemed as though I was curious as to why or how he ended up on the show, because Lisa had told us that he was a board member on a board that was a part of the event that she was hosting, when allegedly he was not a board member. And, Meredith, again, I don't know. Listen, I was totally feeling her. I felt like it was Law and Order last night because she was really meticulously pointing out inconsistencies in Lisa's stories. And I felt like she did a much better job of it than Whitney.
While also building a case for herself, which was actually pretty incredible to watch. She didn't really need to come with like a bunch of receipts. She was just like, I'm going to have you on the spot, answer these little tidbits. I'm not going to attack you all at once, but I'm going to just lead it up to my building argument, which, listen, I could appreciate. I thought it was great.
And speaking of those receipts, what did you make of those receipts from Lisa?
I mean, this is the thing. I love Lisa. It's so hard for me to go in on her, but for the receipts, I agree with Whitney. Anybody can print up. I could send those messages to myself, change my name in my phone to DJRichieSkye, and send myself like a hate message and say, look, guys, look what Richie just sent me. How awful is this? Because I printed it out and it has your name and it has a text message. And then you just delete the one that you sent and it looks like it got sent to you. So this is really
crafty.
Right. So people can do this and print things all the time. That's why I agreed with Whitney. Like, no, whip out the phone, show it to us on the phone, and then we'll believe your receipt.
Side note, whenever we refer to she who shall not be named anymore, this is who we are talking about when we call her Lord Voldemort. Okay? FYI. Now let's get into it. Let's get into the episode because there's a lot to discuss. We start off with we pointed out all the times that Meredith interjected to ask Lisa if she had her back as she's building her case. One of the things we get into is this memorial, okay? Now, what I thought was interesting here was that Lisa said that Meredith said she was at the memorial. But how could she, when I look back on it, how could she have still been at the memorial when she arrived to Vail before the rest of the ladies did? Meredith said when Lisa called her, she was actually in the bathtub. Not at the house, but at the hotel in Vail. So did she go to the house and take another bath? This is what I was curious about. But regardless, how could she have been at the memorial when, now that I reflect back on it, she had to have been in Vail.
Right.
When she received that phone call.
That's the thing too, is they all arrived. How could you, I didn't even think about that till you brought up that point. How could you think that she would have been at the memorial that day when you guys showed up in a Sprinter van, right? So it's not like it took you more than 24 hours. It took them what, like maybe 5 hours? So to get there, you're in a Sprinter van, you show up, she's in a bathtub. Why is this even up for debate anymore? And also memorials go on for sometimes 2, 3, 4 days, depending on what religion you are. Like these things can go on, but I didn't understand them trying to, plead this case. I'm like, she was in the bathtub. You guys showed up. She was there. And you were like, why are you in the bathtub? Our friend was just arrested.
And I still don't understand why Andy was even like, well, all you had to do was answer the question, when in my mind, it would have been like, why are you guys even bothering her about her father passing? Like, the headline is her father passed, not that she was not there on the bus when Jen Shaw was arrested. Or right. The headline should be Jen Shaw was arrested. Who cares what Meredith was doing?
No, I agree with that.
Just my thoughts. But in Meredith's defense of taking 2 baths, when I was in Miami a couple of weeks ago, I too took 2 baths in one day. So maybe it's possible.
I was about to say, I do about 2 to 3 baths on the regular every single day. I do my emails from the bathtub. So I get in there and it's like, I start my morning off, I go to the gym, and then I'll go like shower, bath again. And at night I do it again. So I'm not questioning the baths.
Okay. You are not alone. You are not alone. I love a good bath. Lisa storms out during the break, and this is that moment that we get from the trailer where she's, kind of going off on the producers. And you know what I was more interested in? It was very interesting to see how the trailers were broken down, like who was in whose trailer. So you had Heather and Voldemort in the same trailer, and then you had, interestingly enough, Meredith and Whitney in the same trailer. Was I mistaken about that?
No, I think that's right.
So then did Jen and Lisa get their own trailers?
I think so.
Very interesting. I wonder how everybody felt about that.
Well, Jen kind of requires her own trailer because she comes with a whole squad.
True.
And for Lisa, I don't really know why she would get her own trailer unless she's just like, listen, I did all of these things for you this year. That production asked, like, bring up the caterer and stuff like that. So now give me my own trailer. I don't know. But I was really disappointed with that Lisa storming off and going into the trailer moment that they worked up to be such a big deal on the trailer, which I'm saying trailer a lot, but there was an actual trailer and it was a trailer of the reunion. Mm-hmm. But when they showed it to us as a clip, it looks so explosive and like she's done. Is she walking away from the show, Lisa Barlow? And then you see it and it's like they took a break and she walked back to her trailer, which annoys me.
I was annoyed too, Adam, but I knew that's how it was going to go. It was like they do these moments and it irks my spirit so bad because I'm like, this trailer, I mean, not this trailer, but this reunion has enough moments that I felt like you could have easily filled up a trailer with other pieces of footage that lead someplace, because that wasn't it.
That wasn't it, no.
Going back to Cameron, it was mentioned on the show by Lisa that he and him in a flashback that he had mortgaged his house for $300,000, or that he had donated the $300,000 to Mary's church. But according to Meredith, Lisa told her that wasn't true. And then Meredith said that what he gave to Mary's church was about 1/10 of that amount of $300,000. Who do you believe, Adam?
Honestly, on this one, Lisa kind of confirmed that she might have presented the information wrong, right? Which is kind of something you don't want to present wrong, especially when you're accusing or coming out with these allegations that the church is collecting money from different people who are refinancing their homes or taking out second mortgages. And $300,000 and $30,000, I know both amounts are a lot of money, but
Yes,
that's also
I was doing the math.
Big difference. That's a big difference. $30,000
difference
to $300,000. So when Lisa was like, I didn't know if that was the purchase price of the home or the actual amount that they took out on the home. I didn't know which one. So I'm sorry, I presented the information wrong. And when Meredith came out and said, you flat out told me off camera that this is what happened and that he didn't actually mortgage his home. And then you saw Andy's face, who looked steaming. Like, why are you having these conversations off camera?
Oh, Lisa. So then, well, hold on for 1 second. Then we get Lisa in her spectacles, pulling out her receipts, her book of receipts, and she's pointing to some text messages that she wants to hand over to Andy. Okay, so she hands over the text messages to Andy. I don't even remember what they were about. But she's arguing with Whitney about, how Cameron came to talk to Whitney. What did you make of this? Did you understand? Did it make any sense to you? Because I didn't really understand what they were for at that moment. And I didn't quite get who invited who to talk when.
Yeah, no, I didn't necessarily understand the conversation. But it seemed like he was trying to tell Lisa for the text on the phone. Again, you can see a timestamp, and I believe she handed him the phone on that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think those were real, and he was trying to explain, listen, your friend Angie is trying to connect me with Whitney or whatever the case was. I don't really want to talk about Mary. I'm not comfortable. And it sounds like Whitney got to him, and Whitney made him comfortable enough to have these conversations. I don't think Whitney's lying about this. I think she legitimately had longer conversations than what Lisa wants us to know, because Lisa's trying to protect her friend who's not here to talk for himself. And Whitney's like, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. So
Carrie says Lisa's receipts was saying Cameron didn't talk to Whitney, basically.
Yeah.
But I believe that Whitney had a conversation with him. I mean, I believe that she did. I don't think that Whitney is a liar. I think that she's definitely a pot stirrer, but I don't feel like she's lying.
Right. And I feel like we've caught Lisa Barlow in more questionable acts than we've caught Whitney in, as far as like, what are the facts? What is the truth out of the, I mean, there's been more kind of discrepancies in her stories at this point than there have been in Whitney's.
Yeah, I think that Whitney is a producer puppet, but I don't necessarily think she's a liar.
I think Lisa Barlow is also a producer puppet, though.
Now, is Lisa a producer puppet, or is she a puppet master? Chime in the chat. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I don't think she's a puppet master, because a puppet master wouldn't get caught. So I'm going to go with
Lisa Vanderpump, she is not. Okay.
Right. See, and Lisa Vanderpump, Lisa just kind of got tired. She got bored. She's like, I played all of you and you guys still don't get it. And she's like, I can't keep winning the game. It's just hard. And for Lisa Barlow, we keep catching her in these things. So a puppet master would not get caught.
Imara says, wannabe puppet master. Here's the thing. I have to tell you guys, I like Lisa Barlow, having just kind of been social media friendly with her. I feel like she seems very, very nice, and you know how it is, Adam. You come into contact with people and you have conversations and whatnot, and they may not even be about the show. All that aside, I got to call it like I see it. Last night made Lisa look really, really bad. Really bad. And the thing that bothered me so much about her last night is she could not, and Whitney of all people, this Whitney had to tell her, you should just be quiet. You should just be quiet. because it seemed as though she was spending so much time trying to defend her actions that she wasn't really getting what anyone wanted from her. Like, is just a genuine moment of remorse,
Right.
which never came. Do you think, given that situation, if you had been in the Lisa hot seat, that you would have recognized that, or are you kind of more understanding of why she was so in defense mode?
See, here's the thing. I don't totally not believe everything that Lisa has said. There are some parts where I'm like, Lisa, and then other parts where I'm like, oh no, she came in with some pretty valid receipts on that. So I think right now, in her mind, she believes like if I cave and show remorse that I'm sorry for everything and I let you guys, kind of jump all over me, then it's going to look like I'm admitting to everything, and I'm not. So I'm just going to sit here and hold my ground. But I agreed when Whitney said that, I agreed with her. I was like, this is the time for you to listen. Don't worry, these women are going to have their time in the hot seat too. But right now, just kind of, you got caught on a hot mic, you got caught in some other situations, just apologize and say, man, looking back, I wish I would have done things differently. But no, that's not what we got at all.
If she was going to put up a fight with anybody, I would have said to put up a fight with Whitney and Heather. If she was going to show remorse to anybody, like genuine remorse, like I felt like that energy should have been devoted to Meredith. Mostly because they've had this 10-year friendship. That's what I would be trying to save. Whatever I could do, I would be trying to do to save that relationship. And I wouldn't even try to defend myself because there's really nothing that you can say that would make it better.
Right. Right. And I don't like.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't like the part where she's trying to have this conversation with Meredith off camera when it's so important to have it on camera. Like we're at the reunion and it's just another conversation that we're trying to have off camera, which I know she knows the cameras are rolling and you could kind of see Andy caught onto it. So he's like, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom, and walks away for a second. But thank God Meredith was like, no, I'm not caving in. I just saw this 48 hours ago and I want to have this conversation on the couch. I'm not doing it right now.
And that's another thing to mention, I think, for people who, because we're watching it now and we've known about this information for some time, but really Meredith has just gotten this information 2 days before the reunion.
Right.
I mean, I can't even imagine. I feel like she composed herself a lot better than I would have in that situation, coming into it 48 hours from reading that. I mean, from seeing that episode.
Right. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I'm super defensive over my family. You can tell Meredith is too. She has a lot of other things on her plate. And I was asked earlier, is that a friendship? Can that friendship, come back from that moment, that hot mic moment? And personally, I would never come back from that. Like if you're able to do that and call me every name in the book and then talk about my family, which I'm okay with me, but my family, I'm never going to look at you the same and trust you the same. That's just, it's broken. You don't get that back.
I agree with you. I mean, when I think about it, I would never even think to say that about someone, especially their family. Like,
right.
You're not just talking about her. You're talking about her husband. They allegedly can't, stay in a home for long. Like the implications of all of that are so far reaching that I just don't think that I would ever be able to come back from that as a friend. Like if I got to interact with you because of this show, okay, cool. But am I going to be calling you afterwards? No, I don't want to see you outside of this because now I know how you really feel about me. And regardless of whether or not I listen, I know you said it in a moment of heated anger, but dang, like you went in on some areas that should be off limits for friends.
And it's, even if like watching last night's episode, Meredith said, yeah, the words were harsh, but it's not really the words that got me. It's how they were said, like spewed with vitriol and venom. Like it felt like, wow, you're saying that with conviction. Like you mean that, which that was the part. It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
Yep. So then we get this notion, side note for all you, if you are a diehard Salt Lake fan, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this because I was watching it last night when I was making my thumbnails. Because on Sunday nights, what I do is I watch the episodes, I make my thumbnails, as tiresome as that is, but I do it. And sometimes I will turn on, like I finish watching Watch What Happens Live, but I just happened to go onto YouTube and I saw, guess who popped up? Dana Wilkie. So the great thing about this is last night, Whitney said on the reunion, Whitney points out that Lisa has called a few people and told them the same things that about Meredith that she said in her rant. And then she says, call Sarah Jane someone. So then when I checked on YouTube, I said, wait, is this the same Sarah Jane person that Whitney was talking about that was live last night with Dana Wilkie? So if you are a Salt Lake fan, I highly suggest you guys go back and watch that interview. Okay. Do you know anything about that?
No, I didn't watch it, but I was pretty happy she got it. Everybody was talking about Sarah and saying that she was dishing a lot on Lisa. She doesn't like Lisa Barlow, apparently, but that's the extent of what I heard about it. But I'm definitely going to check it out.
I'm going to go back and watch the entire thing, likely when I'm taking my bath. Okay.
See? There you go.
So Jen Shaw then has to call Lisa out for being more apologetic. We didn't really get too much from Jen this episode. Any thoughts about that?
No, there was one moment out of all of the chaos that was kind of nice, and it was when Meredith just agreed to move forward with Jen in some capacity, and she apologized. And when Jen went back to her trailer with Coach Shaw, and she's like, I was kind of taken aback. Meredith apologized, and now I understand what she was going through because that was me a year ago. I was like, that was a great moment, and it was a good moment to see Jen in that light. I have a feeling that Jen's spotlight's going to shine a little bit brighter, though, on part 3. Yeah.
I almost forgot about that part with her and Coach Shaw and their Gucci. Was he in a Gucci tracksuit as well?
I don't know. Probably Coach Shaw.
Let me just say this, okay? I don't know if I'm advising her stylist-wise or anything, and if I care about her, I'm going to tell her, let's not do the Gucci robe today. Let's do the Walmart brand robe, okay? Let's do the knockoff robe. Let's do the plain black robe. Let's not do let's not throw the labels in everyone's faces when you are facing a trial for alleged fraud and other types of things. That's just me. That's what stood out in that scene to me. Probably the reason why I forgot that Coach Shaw was there. I'm staring at this Gucci robe. I'm like, really, girl? But that's just me. I don't know. Andy asked Lisa and Meredith, where do they go from here? Lisa's, sorry, I regret saying it. We've all had those moments. No, Lisa, we have not, honestly. We have not had those moments. Meredith is like, I saw this 48 hours ago. I'm devastating it, and I'm still processing, okay? Now, the rest of the ladies don't seem to believe that Lisa didn't realize that she was still mic'd. What are your thoughts?
You've been in this situation. Would you know would you forget you're mic'd? Okay,
good question. So randomly, when I did Stripped for Bravo, there was a day that it was like my second day of filming. I had thrown up earlier that day because I had went out drinking the day before. And my friends had taken me out, gotten me drunk or whatever. I didn't have anything to take because they had taken all my possessions. So I had to go down to the storage facility and get something. And I was supposed to go to work, and they were supposed to take, they were going to follow me at work that day. But I ended up calling out of work, and I'm sitting in the car with my friend, and I'm talking to him, and I'm telling him like, oh my God, I don't feel like I can. I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, I am out of here. I can't do this. I don't want to do any of this. I was really going off. I was mic'd the entire time. Didn't think about it. I was just so in the moment, and I was so sick that I wanted to quit. So I will say that there are moments that you can have when, for me, I was new to it. It was only my second day. Now, Lisa's been at this a little bit longer than I was. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Right. See, and that's the thing. You've done the same thing from experience on day 2. So it is interesting to think about. I feel like I wouldn't personally forget that I had a mic on my body, especially when I'm walking past all of the cameras in order to get up the stairs with the boom mics and producers are in the room. So you still know you're filming a TV show. I wouldn't necessarily forget. I don't think that I had a mic on, but you just proved the point that it is possible.
Yeah. I mean, and you, in your mind later on, you think about it and you hope like, oh my God, I hope they don't like some of the stuff that I said. I mean, you're kind of going off about production and everything because I don't really know them that well yet, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible it could go either way, right?
Right.
But it is interesting that they don't believe that she didn't realize that she was Mike. And I think that it really calls into question whether or not she really did because they know her better.
And that's the thing too. I think they're all looking at it from the same experience. Like, we wouldn't forget our mics are on. We're pretty careful, and it's not like Lisa was wasted or anything,
Right.
This was just like I just got up from filming a TV show. Like this was only 45 seconds of time from exiting the table to walking into the house. You're just filming with all the cameras around you. The cameras are following you into the house. You see that camera. You're walking up the stairs. Again, you see production in the boom mics. I don't know how you could actually forget that you're mic'd.
I also think that at this point in the episode, there were so many inconsistencies that had been pointed out that you start to question everything.
Right.
So that's kind of just where we are with Lisa at this point, which is unfortunate, right?
And that's the thing too. It's like with the Heather, I saw more about the DUI stuff. The thing is if you come onto reality TV, we trust you. I learned this like super young. I think I said this last time. It takes a lifetime to build up a reputation, a good reputation. It takes just a couple seconds to destroy it. And when you start showing us that you're capable of inconsistencies, not just one or two, but so many, we're going to question every single story that you come out with. And if you show us that you always come with receipts, like who's somebody that's just messy? Like Brandi Glanville, she's so messy, but she always comes with receipts. Lisa Rinna, she's messy, but 9 times out of 10, she comes with receipts. It's like, you don't really question their stories.
Very interesting. I mean, I still question some of the Brandi and Denise stuff, but that is a completely different story for another day. Okay.
I mean, I would love to hear your stance on that because I feel like
let me just say this. Let me interject this one little thought about the Brandi Denise thing since we're talking about it. Brandi claims it was so bad. If the experience was so bad, if a sexual experience is that bad, why are you talking about it? Personally, if it was as bad as she makes it out to be, I would want to forget it. It never happened. Never did it. I don't even know you.
I mean, that's one way to look at it, but I look at it like she thought that moment happened, so why not use it to put food on the table for her kids? She's going to bring it up in front of producers and cameras, and boom, I get my diamond back.
But
she went fishing.
Still carrying on with it, Adam.
I know. that part, okay, that part's bad. That part's bad. And she, every time it comes up in an interview, like the Jeff Lewis, I think, or somebody who just interviewed Denise Richards, she's like, that didn't happen. And then Brandi immediately catches it within like the first 6 hours that it's up. And she's tweet happy. She's like Instagram storying. She's like, okay, it didn't happen. Let me bring up the receipts. You want to play? You don't want to play with me. And it's like, what is happening? This is so old.
It's crazy to me.
It's crazy. Some things though, like Scary Island, live in our minds forever. So.
Kenzie J, listen. Kenzie J says, dang, y'all acting like Lisa danced on Meredith's dad's grave. Well, I don't know, but I know that if you call me a hoe, a homewrecker, say that I slept with half of New York, and then you talk about my family, say that they're posers, say that we're fake, say that we can't afford a house, I don't know. I just don't know that I would react too kindly to that. But I mean, okay.
And when you list it like that,
I mean, whatever. Andy asked about this rumor. No, Andy asked Meredith, "Hey, why did you mention that you're going to tell everybody, talk about everybody who everybody else has dated or been with or had some type of illicit affair with?" And Meredith is like, Andy was like, "Well, is it a threat?" And he kind of works his way around, getting an answer from her. She's like, "Yeah, it kind of is." I don't blame her. I do not blame her at that point because Jen has said the same things that Lisa said, interestingly enough. And then Lisa said it. Jen was talking about it last season. If I was Meredith, I'd be like, if y'all keep playing with me, I will tell all your business too.
She had a great point last night too when she said, she's like, you guys have come for my father and his memorial. You've come for my husband and our marriage. You guys have come for my kids. You guys have talked about my business and somebody even took stuff out of my business. You guys have gone down the line and attacked me. And I have a lot locked in this vault. So unless you want me to bring it out, I suggest that you back the up. And I think that's like the warning that she's giving right now. But I am curious who all she has stuff on. But I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like these housewives every season, before it comes, the new season, it's like they pull out a new storyline out of their hat. I have no idea how they do it, but then they have like 10 people lining up at the door to come on camera and share their story. And it's like, where do you find this information? But it sounds like she has it.
I'm not shocked that she has it because I'm like, if you think about it like this, if they have it on her, I'm sure she has something on them.
Right. That's the thing is like you have to be careful too when you throw stones at glass houses when your house is made out of glass too, or whatever they say, because it does whatever goes around, it comes back around. You're going to have your day. And if you're on reality TV, like we've all had lives, I'm sure they can make the stupidest thing into a storyline and they'll run with it. Like the botch job Orange County thing with Dr. Terry DeBro, that was from 10 or 20 years ago. And they'll run in it with it. And then all of a sudden it becomes part of the show. Now we have to talk about it again. So just stay off reality TV, guys, unless you want us to talk about it.
That part.
Yeah.
I wonder who it is, though. Anyway, what we do know is, allegedly, Jen and Meredith did not date the same guy, if you guys can see me winking, when Meredith was on a break from Seth. Meredith says that her and Seth have been back together for 2 years, and she cannot attest to who Jen Shah might have or might not have been with. Andy turns to Jen Shah, who says, "I'm married." What are your thoughts about this?
See, I hate playing with people's marriages. Like even the Jackie Goldschneider, from New Jersey rumor, when that came out about Evan, there were no actual receipts that were presented. So I didn't buy the rumor. For Jen Shah, she said that it didn't happen. And Meredith has she alluded to Jen Shah specifically? Or has she just said the group and we're all assuming it's Jen Shah?
I only think that people are connecting the Jen Shah thing because when Heather brought up that Jen Shah left her house in an Uber that she called and that the Uber stopped in the middle of nowhere and then Jen Shah got out of said Uber and went someplace, Lisa indicated that she thought she knew where Jen Shah went. I think that was the first time that anybody had put a spotlight on, well, what's going on here with Jen and Coach Shah? And even Andy's going to ask next week, has there been any infidelity or anything like that? So I think that is why people are connecting Jen Shah to this rumor specifically. And because there were people out there that were saying that Meredith and Jen both dated the same person, which is where we get the question from.
Wow. Maybe you're in the wrong field. Maybe you should have been in law.
I know, right?
Yeah. You're pretty good at it. No, I mean, it's interesting. Again, I guess if they keep on testing Meredith, whoever the person is at the table or on the couch that she's talking about, listen, after she's only on season 2, let it get to season 3, 4, 5. We just saw it on New Jersey. Margaret has been dealing with Jennifer Aiden for so long. And finally, after like 4 seasons of knowing these rumors about Jennifer Aydin's husband, she was like, I'm letting it out.
You know, the crazy thing about this show is that a lot of what they are doing to each other, I mean, what these ladies are doing, they're doing it to each other.
Right.
Like, it's not people necessarily just from the outside who are coming out, obviously the married situation aside, but these ladies are outing each other's secrets. I'm like, you guys needed to have some type of little covenant with yourselves that you would not go to certain places. You can read each other down, you can go off on each other, but then when you start sprinkling in these types of little accusations about each other, that's when things go left for everybody, because then the next person is going to say, well, you said this about me. Well, now I'm going to say this about you.
Right. It's kind of like part of the reason that we got ourselves into some trouble on Potomac with everyone talking about Monique's baby. Remember? So it's like you're bringing up situations and there should be some sort of, listen, have at it. You broke the bow off my cake, or throw your fake leg on the table, or Scary Island.
I'm here for all of the fake leg and the bow off the cake.
Yeah, that have at it and keep it fun. You want to attack like her cabaret and say that she doesn't have a great voice. Okay, that's still light. But when you start talking about the kids and you start talking about people's marriages, even their businesses should be a no-go. But okay, light shade, that's fine, like Tipsy Girl. But the kids and the marriages, unless you really have proof of something, which even still maybe don't bring it up, but unless you really have proof, it shouldn't even be a topic.
Because at the end of the day, I actually hate talking about something that is so ultra scandalous that we just can't believe it. I don't like talking about it, but I find that we have to on a lot of these shows. I like what Key Stays Splashing says, throw shade without personal facts.
Yep.
Fun shade.
Yeah.
Fun shade, you know?
And there's like, it's like these women have honestly lost the ability to do that. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's from how the producers are like shoving them in one direction and not just letting them keep it kind of, I feel like they think in their mind, if we keep it light-hearted and kind of fun and cotton candy, then we won't be asked back next season. So each one in their mind, it's like Hunger Games. Who are we going to attack? Who are we going to take out? I want to be on the winning side. Let's do this. It's not the same.
It can't be that. It's break time and we're ending the episode. And Lisa wants to pull Meredith to the side and she rationalizes why she went off on her. And here is her rationalization. Well, you know, someone told me that you said that my renovation was just a mess. I won't say what she said, but it was a mess. And so, yeah, so, you know, did you say that? And Meredith is like, what? I said your house was ugly, so that's why you did this? And then she storms off. What did you make of that moment?
I like how you get it closer to the camera too. Like, tell me. Now you went from like lawyer to therapist. I was like, Lisa, you're losing me, man. This is that you couldn't cut like something better than that. Even if that's the truth and somebody told you that, can you come up with a lie? Can you come up with just a really good lie? Because saying that she called your house renovation ugly, that justifies calling her a POS garbage, you know, the W word, talk about her family, talk about her home, talk about her husband. What?
Had I not already seen that scene play out on social media, I'd seen clips of it on social media. If I were just watching the episode, I don't know what I would have done, because in my mind, I was like, Lisa, really? This was the best you could do?
Yeah.
This was the reason why you went off on your rant? Girl, please make up something else, because this ain't it.
This is bad. This is bad. Are you watching Miami or no?
Okay. So I watched the reunion. I watched episode 1 and then I watched the reunion. So now I'm like, okay, I'll go back and watch. Mind you, I was in love with seasons 1 through 3. I don't know why I just felt like I didn't have time to watch this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. But The only point I was going to make, if you watch the first part of the reunion, you see where one of the housewives, Nicole, is like, why are we fighting about home interior design? Like, I don't like modern contemporary. Sorry. Like, even if you might come in my house and hate the way that I have everything aesthetically, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be like DJRichieSkye, that POS, like, and just go, what? That doesn't add up for me. I know two wrongs don't make a right, but this is like, okay, she doesn't like your couch. Maybe I don't like your couch either. And on this side, it's like your kids, your family. I'm coming for blood, all of you.
It didn't add up.
No,
it just didn't. Like, Lisa, no. Adam, what are you looking forward to next week?
I want to see the husbands come out, and I just want to see what questions Andy has for Jen and Coach Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the most curious about that I'm more curious about that than anything. And I wonder if Andy's going to have any questions for John Barlow about like the intense heat that Lisa just took on the floor, like with everybody going in on her and her caught herself into some questionable situations. I want to see the line of questioning for John Barlow, Coach Shaw, Jen Shaw, and then the rest I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking forward to seeing the Jen Shaw and Coach Shaw stuff play out. And I think I'm kind of ready to close the book on this chapter of Salt Lake City. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I didn't love this season. I mean, there was a lot to love and there was a lot to loathe. But I think next season we could do with the shorter season.
Right. I mean, they just did it for Jersey and they cut it to 14 episodes. So why not?
I'm here for that. I am here for that. Please give me 14 episodes.
And just give us new seasons and new content.
Absolutely. Because then you can keep the season short. It's action-packed, no filler. And then bring us another new season.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to ask you before we end up wrapping up, do you think with Jen Shaw's court date being pushed now to July 11th, that because they started filming in November, right?
I think they started filming in January.
Was it January?
I thought it was. Well, I could be wrong.
Let's meet in the middle and say December.
Okay.
Let's say December, January, February, March, April, May. And that's about 6 months of filming, which maybe they'll cut it in April.
Oh, you mean this coming season?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So now if they cut it in April, filming season 3, and then Jen Shaw goes to court in July, I'm wondering if they'll have her on a season 4 and pick up with cameras and follow her to court and on that journey. Because even when she goes to court, it's going to be about a month and a half of the court. And then it's going to be about another month and a half in between. What if she's not found guilty? If she's found not guilty, then she's good. She gets to go home. And if she's found guilty, then she has to come back for more court like a month and a half later for sentencing stuff.
I guess the better question is, will she even get that court date?
Well, yeah, and it could get pushed back again.
I mean, it honestly wouldn't surprise me. It's gone from October to March, now to July. So I just don't even know that I just don't know that it's going to happen then.
And that would give me such anxiety to have, I would just want to get it over with, I guess. And it would give me so much anxiety. Like everyone is like, Jen Shaw should be celebrating because it's pushed back. And I'm like, I would have anxiety every single day and wake up knowing like, we're one day closer. We're one day closer. This is going I couldn't even imagine.
And I think those legal bills continue to add up the longer it's postponed.
Yeah. And if she was talking about a $2 million retainer when she was filming the show, I mean, now we're literally adding another almost year from the original date of October that she has to retain these lawyers. So now it's probably like, I don't know, 250 or 2,500,000 or 3, who knows? I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think they'll find a way to get her for a season 4.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do. Adam, any news on Beverly Hills when it's coming back? I just wanted to know.
It's probably coming back at the end of May if we have Atlanta coming out May 1st. I'm thinking that they're going to stack it back to back because we'll be ending up on New Jersey and Orange County by then. But no, we don't have an official date. I'm excited for it though. I can't wait. The cast is so big. There's 10 women. So it's like 5 women on New York, it was a dud. 10 women on Beverly Hills. Like, we can't get too much of one person's boring storyline. We have to keep it going, and I like the pace. So I'm excited for Beverly Hills. I talked to Tisa Tells this morning, and she was saying Atlanta is going to be really good. So I trust it. I trust the sources.
I cannot wait. All right, Adam, let everybody know anything that you have going on or where they can find you.
Yeah. You guys can find me on my channel, Up and Adam. It's just crazy lives and pre-records this week. We have another big announcement, Zach and I, regarding our upcoming live tour for LA, Nashville, and New York, and more special guests joining us. So we will be doing that on Wednesday. And in the meantime, I'll just see you guys on the tube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, make sure you guys are following Adam, get those updates. And y'all know what to do. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.